Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Connie Unruh with DeWitt Savings Bank. Good to see you, Connie. How are you? I'm sorry, Connie Miller. Connie Miller with DeWitt Savings Bank. How are you, Connie?
I'm great.
Sorry, I'm in the mode of like trying to catch everything up. You and I got started late this morning, and I'm like catching everything up, and out of habit, I said that. So my apologies.
At all.
But anyways, how's your summer going?
It's been good. We
Good.
just got back from Michigan. It was sort of rainy, but it was nice.
Yeah,
was
you look
fun.
like you've been getting a lot of sun. So
I have a pool in my backyard.
well, there you go. There you go. Get that daily vitamin D. Very good.
Yeah.
All right, Connie. Well, I know fall is right around the corner, and while everybody's excited about the pumpkin spice and all that good stuff, the holidays, to me, this is kind of what I was thinking about. I don't know if this is where you wanted to go with things, but for me, I start to think about the holidays, putting money away for gifts for kids and family and all the things. What say you? What comes to mind when you think financial planning at this time of the year?
Yeah. So, Christmas comes around every year, right?
Mhm.
We know it's coming, but we don't plan for it a lot of times. So, and also I've noticed that fall is becoming more of an event than it used to be.
How so?
You see a lot more decorations in people's yards.
Mhm.
People go to the pumpkin patches and pick up mums and all that, do apple picking,
Mhm.
and that's not free.
Mhm.
So it's really nice to be able to budget for those outings.
Mhm.
Even apple and pork. I mean,
Mhm.
most people here in this area, they'll have friends come from out of town to go to apple and pork. They do a lot of shopping. There's great shopping. And then, of course, they have to pick up some food.
Mhm.
There's the great food there, and they need to be prepared.
Mhm.
So I would start with my husband. I just started really tracking our spending. We had sort of gotten lax, and we would do it at the end of the month after the month was over a lot of times. And then we'd be like, oh, wow, we really overspent on this or that.
Mhm.
So I reinstalled an old app on my phone, the Every Dollar app. That's the Dave Ramsey one.
Mhm.
And they have a version that's free, and then they have one you can pay for. I started with my account connected to it
Mhm.
and my bank account,
Mhm.
and I didn't like it. So now I just do it's an every month budget. So you can have a little conference before the month starts and say, hey, what's going on this month?
Mhm.
Or what's going on in the next 3 months or the next year that we want to save for. And you could portion some of your money to save it
Mhm.
for Christmas or fall, like all the decorations.
Mhm.
I'm seeing more and more people buying elaborate yard decorations for their yards, and the costumes are getting a little bit more
Mhm.
creative and
Mhm.
out there.
Mhm.
So just being able to budget for that
Mhm.
beforehand, because it's coming up, and
Sure.
you're going to be in Sam's Club and see a giant skeleton you want, and you'll have the money for it.
Yeah, you could drop $400 or $500 on Halloween and fall season pretty easily, at the end of it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, of course, buying candy for the kids coming through.
Well,
and all
sure. I
that
didn't even
is
think about
going-
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think a lot of times we don't budget that. Even like going to the haunted houses and stuff like that. That now there's like these massive ones all over the Midwest that you can go to.
Mhm.
And I mean, even if you go to the one on Washington Street, you're going to have snacks for the kids and
Mhm.
things like that. So it
Mhm.
adds up. It's not. A lot of times it's like invisible money just leaving your wallet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you keep
Yeah.
track of it and you have it available, it's just so much less stress. Like
Mhm.
we were
Mhm.
talking before we started, we went on a quick vacation to Michigan, and we had planned how much we had to spend.
Mhm.
We rented a place within that budget, and then we knew we had the money to go out to dinner
Mhm.
and all that because we saved it in the
Mhm.
previous month and then had some for this month too
Mhm.
in our budget.
Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go. And you talked about tracking that spending, and when you really do break it down, not only does it give you kind of an idea of where your money is going, but you realize either how much you have, you realize that hey, I'm doing this, but I could really cut back and put maybe use it for something else, save it, those sorts of things. I mean, there's just a lot of the knowledge is power thing. There's a lot of just freedom in knowing where your money is going, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And once you know where your money's going, I will warn people the first few months you start tracking your spending, you're like, oh man, this is bad, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm spending way more than I
Mm-hmm.
thought I was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then you're able, you like turn a corner. It's sort of, I've said this before, but it's like a ship. You're going down the shipping lane, and then you're going to turn and course correct. And it doesn't happen the first month,
Mm-hmm.
second month.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll meet like on the 31st or the 1st and say, this is where we have this big expense. We
Mm-hmm.
want to do this to the
Mm-hmm.
house, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to do that, then we're going to have to cut here.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives us a good idea where we want to go.
Well, and I tell you, that's the other thing you kind of learn along the way. And I have shared with you my financial journey, over the years. And one thing you learn in that is that not everything comes up all at once. Like, you don't have the same expenses month to month. You might have a quarterly expense. You might have a yearly expense, a twice a year expense, depending on how your insurance works. It might come up twice a year, depending on how like garbage collection works. It might come up quarterly, life insurance, all these things.
Or taxes.
Taxes was the big one. Yeah.
So which reminds me, I have to pay my second half of my property taxes. I'm writing myself a note.
Glad we could help you out here today, Connie.
Yeah, but no, there's a lot of things like that you don't realize. But if you're looking at the whole year, we always look at the whole year in January. And then each month we sort of modify. But getting to Christmas, we were talking about Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I make a list of who we want to buy gifts for and
Mm-hmm.
how much
Mm-hmm.
we plan to spend, or
Mm-hmm.
how much we will have to spend if we save until Christmas to
Mm-hmm.
pay for those gifts, because I don't want to put them on a credit card
Mm-hmm.
and be paying, into the summer
Mm-hmm.
for a big Christmas.
Sure.
And most people, gifts, some people are motivated by the size of the gift, what they get, all that. But most people just want to know you care about them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
some of my favorite gifts that we've gotten have been homemade things.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy those.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time, and that's really precious to me. So I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy them.
Very good. Very good. As we think about, fall spending and all those things here, Connie, anything else on that we haven't touched on you want to put out there?
I know that a lot of people have their kids going back to school this week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is when it gets hot, heavy, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're dropping your kids off. They have sports
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. You're trying to figure out dinner
Mm-hmm.
and all that. You need to plan.
Mm-hmm.
And we recommend planning on the weekend
Mm-hmm.
for the next week.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be
Mm-hmm.
putting a menu together
Mm-hmm.
based on little Joey's got practice these
Mm-hmm.
days,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not gonna get home till 7.
Mm-hmm.
What can I make? Can I throw something in the crock pot?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many great recipes online that you can
Mm-hmm.
find, especially pasta and crock
Mm-hmm.
pot recipes
Mm-hmm.
that are inexpensive, easy to make.
Mm-hmm.
First time you make them might not be easy, but after a while they get easier, and then you have your
Right.
tried and trues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But make sure you have leftovers. So maybe Monday you cook and Tuesday you don't,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
but so you don't have to pop through a drive-through and spend $60 on McDonald's. It's not even good for you.
Right.
We always throw some frozen pizzas in our freezer just to have for emergency dinner. And having a bag of bread in the fridge because it lasts longer, some peanut butter and jelly in case the kids are hungry. You got a snack, some veggies. Carrots are cheap, so celery. You can always have stuff like that available, so you can make an emergency lunch in a hurry if you have to. So I would recommend planning ahead for the week, and do your grocery shopping on the weekend if you can.
Yep. Turn into I know it's, almost 100. It's not 100, but it's warm out still. I'm turning to the crock pot tonight, not going to lie. So getting that started here this evening as well. So Connie, I tell you, as we, again, that back to school piece, one thing, and I wish I would have had you on sooner so we could have highlighted this, or at least I would have known about it sooner, was the suspension of the sales tax for school supplies, clothes, and all that stuff. That was a nice little perk this year.
Yes, it is. And they've been having it for the past few years. It seems like
They have?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've always been out of town that weekend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they do. That is a nice, because some of the taxes are like 9.25%. So it's like a big discount for that. But also remember, I know your kids
also it makes you realize how much you're taxed.
Yes, exactly. And I sort of look at my receipts now for different towns to see what the taxes are.
Oh, really?
But, yeah.
That's
yeah.
funny.
But also, there's a lot of school supplies. You save them. Don't, the paints, the kids use them like once a year. Crayons you can get for 50 cents and they save them for the rest of the year. Just be sparing on the stuff. And I started saving mine for the next year.
Yeah, right. The stuff you don't use.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what my wife does, is just keeps an inventory of the stuff, and then we go back to the store for what we used all year. So
and invest in a good backpack. Don't get the cheap ones, because I will tell you, I had the first year my kids wanted like the cute, like my kindergartner wanted like I don't know, Roblox backpack or whatever. And
Yeah.
of course they fall apart by December.
Yeah.
And then we started buying like the Eastland, old school ones that last forever. And I think it was the next year I bought him one, and he had it through college.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a backpack I got in high school. That up until like a couple years ago, it started falling apart on me. We took a trip out west, and it started to fall apart on me out there. And I was like, it might be time to get a new one. So I did. But yeah, man, some of those backpacks, they'll last you forever. By the way, and I don't want to throw shade at the school district or schools in general, but can we modify the school list? By the way, it feels like my kids come back with the same thing every year, and they ask for it the next year. Can we modify the school supply list a little bit?
So you want more creative things?
No, I want them to like figure out what they actually use, and I don't have to buy, because there's people that probably they don't do the whole, like, oh, we didn't use this last year, we'll save it for next year or type of thing. And then at the end of the summer, they go back through, like, there's stuff they're buying and they're coming home with every year. Can we figure out what we're using?
And they never
use it. Yeah.
So I just save it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But not everybody does that, right? So you're just buying. They should, but they're buying the same things over and over again.
The school year, I would take everything out of their backpacks, and then I would put back the things that we didn't.
Right. And you just take it off the list. Yeah, so you don't buy it. Right.
No,
I totally get what you're saying.
I hate to admit this, but I wouldn't buy all the diaper wipes and the Clorox wipes and the paper towels and all that. It's like, when you need them in December, I'll buy you some. And they never needed them.
Yeah.
Never.
There you go.
Sorry, school district.
That's all right. Connie, I'll tell you what, on that note, we have gone over time. Let's take a break, come back and talk scams with Connie Miller with DeWitt Savings Bank, my guest in studio. More to come with Connie on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.com/actively engaged. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn steady, beans higher, Chicago wheat lower. September corn down 3/4, 464 1/4. December corn down 3/4, 488 3/4. And March corn is down a penny, 504 1/4. September beans up 8 1/4, 1209 1/4. November beans 1225 3/4, up 9 3/4. January beans up 9 1/2, 1240 1/2. September Chicago wheat down 7 1/4, 667 1/2. September KC wheat is down 751 3/4. September bean meal, $312.90, up 80 cents. September bean oil, down 69 cents, 70.75. Livestock trade August feeders, $341.25, up $1.27. August live cattle up $1.35, $225.90. October lean hogs, 81.07, down 65 cents. Energy market, October Brent crude oil, 90.84.
The Illinois Emergency Management Agency has designated WHOW's many platforms on AM and FM, as well as WEZC 95.9 FM, as standby radio stations for emergency messages to be sent for severe weather, as well as for the Clinton Power Station. We also have a direct link to the National Weather Service for watches or warnings to air immediately when they're issued. Keep yourself and your family safe by tuning into the WHOW platforms on AM, FM, or streamed online, as well as on WEZC 95.9 FM.
Don't let a summer sniffle turn into a summer setback. Warner Hospital's walk-in clinic has you covered. No appointment necessary. Just walk in and be seen by our caring medical team. Warner Hospital Walk-in Clinic, right here when you need us.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW. WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Connie Miller, DeWitt Savings Bank, my guest in studio today. Connie, I apologize. I've only left us about 5 minutes to talk about scams. What's going on? What are you seeing?
Well, first of all, with the big storm that just happened, we've had a few people report scams where someone's like calling them and, right off the blue, like, to help repair something for them. And if you ever get somebody to call you like that, first of all, if they ask you for money to come do an assessment of your property, that's probably not a good idea. I mean, if it's an emergency like a plumber and you call them and they say, hey, that's after hours, we're going to charge you extra, that's different. This is someone unsolicited calling you and asking, would you like our help? We can come out and do an estimate. It will cost you $150. And these people target the areas where people are having issues. Plus, if they see you on Facebook asking, hey, I had a tree land on my house, who should I call? So I would highly recommend you call your insurance company right away. A lot of people, I know they're busy, but you can call your insurance agent, you can call the claims and talk to somebody there. Your insurance agent will also know some legit people in the area to do business with. They'll usually know some good roofers or people like Service Master or whatever to clean if you need it. So, but call your insurance company right away because you want to get the damage at least covered and cleaned so you don't have more damage.
Right.
So I just spoke to someone this morning who had a tree limb fall through her roof last week and she still has not called the insurance company because she was afraid to file a claim.
Oh my.
Yeah. And she had her son tarp up there, but then it rained and then the rain was dripping through. And you have to call and get somebody out there so there's less damage too.
Yeah. You risk more damage if you don't deal with it right away.
But that's something to remember. You need to have enough money saved for your deductible. If you do not have that saved, start saving it. You need an emergency fund and you need that money available because if something happens and you have to pay out of your pocket for that, you need to have that money.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But also like we've been hearing a ton of at our bank, we get a lot of phone calls on fraud. And one of the biggest ones lately has been this thing where you get an email and they tell you that your computer's not secure. We found you're being investigated because you have porn on your computer, and then they throw some pictures on your computer. They're supposedly yours. This is not true. Ignore it. Most of the time you could just ignore it, delete the email, because if you respond to an email like that, then they know your email's legit. They've got you hooked. So just ignore those emails and delete them. If you have an email that you're not expecting, just delete it. Don't even respond. I got a bunch the other day saying I joined some gun club and I just started deleting them all. I get ones. It's like update on your insurance policy, that sort of thing. Here's the latest, for this, credit card you applied for, something like that. And if they know, if you flag it as spam or trash, whatever they call it on your computer, the computer learns not to send those anymore and you'll get less and less of them.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, it's sort of like an AI thing. So you can do that. But I will tell you that AI, we know, is going to make fraud even worse. They can impersonate voices. They can do so much. So please, if you get an email or a text that you don't recognize, do not respond to it. We hear this all the time. People will be like, oh, someone texted me by accident. My husband had one yesterday. They want you to respond, say, sorry, this isn't blah, blah, blah. And then they start a conversation with you and eventually befriend you. And then, of course, you have something in common with them.
Sure.
And then eventually it turns into wanting money or something else from you.
Okay.
Legit people don't ask for cryptocurrency, cash, gift cards, any of that. Best way to pay for things, credit card is the easiest to recover funds from, or a debit card. But if you give someone cash, you're not going to get it back. We've heard of people having to mail boxes of cash and things like that.
Oh my. That's not good.
No.
Wow.
They do. If you do think you're a victim of fraud, call your bank right away to see if they can reverse that. Also, wires usually cannot get those back. But call your bank right away. Also, call the police. File a report. They might not be able to solve the crime, but then they forward that on. And it helps make a profile of the latest frauds so they can try to stop those.
Yeah, sure.
But and then also the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, or it's IC3, that's through the FBI. They also investigate cybercrime.
All right. Very good. Connie, good stuff as always. How do folks get a hold of you at DeWitt Savings Bank for scams or financial information?
If you have any questions or need some help, I can be reached at 217-935-7739 or just ask for Connie at DeWitt Savings Bank.
Very good. Connie Miller, DeWitt Savings Bank, my guest in studio. Network news on the way.
WHOW.